Okay, now you listen up, Chad. Now you listen up. Listen. Listen. You're not listening. I know that many of you are upset. But hey, don't take it out on the stream, you know what I mean? Smash like, baby, let's go! Smash like on the stream. Look, if you liked Acolyte episode 3, smash like. If you hated Acolyte episode 3, smash like. If you wandered into this stream, you don't know what the Acolyte is, and you're wondering why people are so upset about it, smash like. Think about it. Yeah. Look, we're going to talk about it, guys. Okay? We're going to talk about it. We're going to have a frank discussion. I want to share with you my experience of watching Acolyte episode 3 and also like thinking about Acolyte episode 3. I've been thinking a lot about it since I saw it last night. And there's a whole bunch of stuff to get into. I want to talk about why I don't want to talk about it anymore. So this will be the last stream, officially the last stream that I dedicate to Acolyte. I'll probably keep watching it because I want to see what happens. I want to see if maybe it gets away from some of this crap and actually gets into some cool stuff. But it is exhausting talking about Acolyte, and frankly, I think the show was designed to be exactly as, let's say, inflammatory as it's been. I think somewhere right now, and you guys let me know if you agree or not, I think somewhere right now, Leslie Headland is cackling with enjoyment. I feel like she's somewhere right now cackling and like and like really excited because I think that this is exactly the kind of discourse that she wanted. I think this is exactly what she wanted to do to the fan base. And despite my sort of nuanced feelings about the show itself, the one thing that I know for sure is that I don't want to talk about this shit anymore. And by the way, if I only cared about money and numbers and things of that nature, I would continue to talk about it for the whole duration of the show, because every stream we talk about it, a lot of views, a lot of super chats, a lot of people very engaged, very upset, and people want to talk about it. So if all I cared about was money, super chats, and you know, I would just farm this rage for the duration of the series. But the honest to God truth is, like, obviously, like, I care about money, and your support is very much appreciated. Thank you. It's more important to me that we sort of foster a cool vibe over here, and just in general with the channel and a lot of the stuff that I'm trying to do. I want to create a positive experience for the fans, you know? I think it's okay to discuss these things, and it's totally okay for you guys to rage out about them. And if you want to just rage out about this, you know, there's plenty of channels, streams, and videos to watch that are, you know, just raging out about it. But that's honestly not really, I'm not really interested in that. I would much rather get excited about, like, The Boys Season 4. I'd much rather get excited about House of the Dragon. I would much rather get excited about Marvel, and there's really cool stuff happening with Marvel. Star Wars, kind of interesting situation that they find themselves in, because Star Wars is undeniably in a place right now where you kind of can't have a chill discourse. You know what I mean? Like, even if you really like Acolyte, you can't deny that if you were to go have that opinion online or go try to talk about it online, it would be a horrible experience. And as I've said for years, and as I'm going to say a lot today, that is ultimately Lucasfilm's fault. And if you had to lay this problem at the feet of one individual person, we all know exactly who that is. And it's like, at what point does this become an exercise in futility? Right? So that's what we're going to talk about today. We got a lot to break down. I've got notes, I've got thoughts, and I'm going to hear you guys out as well. We're going to talk a lot about what you guys are thinking, what you guys are feeling. It's going to be a very cathartic stream, and we're going to get into it, and I want to steel man the people that say this was not breaking the lore, and I want to steel man the ideas in the show, and I also want to steel man the people that think this is a horrible, self-inserted, pandery bunch of nonsense. So we're going to try to kind of hit all the angles and have one last thorough discussion, because, you know, I kind of, after a while of thinking about it, and I would love to know, of course, what you guys think, right? But after a while of thinking about it, I have come to believe that episode 3 of Acolyte is like the perfect microcosm of Star Wars. It is the perfect metaphor for what Lucasfilm has done to the Star Wars brand. And I think that is just objectively true. You might like it, you might hate it, but I think Acolyte in episode 3 is like, it is the perfect thing to dissect, because it is representing what has happened to Star Wars. That's what I think. Okay? So that's what we're going to do today, but I also want to say, before we get into all of the Star Wars talk and we kind of deep dive into this, I absolutely must pay my respects and talk briefly about Benny Potter and comic historian. As many of you guys know, Benny Potter is no longer with us. Some kind of an accident that happened, and he is no longer here. Taken way too soon. And I didn't know Benny, okay? I was on a panel with Benny in Philly at one time. Him and Sal and some of those guys. And I'm, of course, friends with Rob. And, you know, Rob and I both know Benny. Rob was obviously much closer with Benny than I was. But as somebody that also operates in the nerdy space, somebody that's been into comic books and comic book YouTube for a long, long time, I mean, Benny is one of the OGs. He's an absolute goat. And it's super tragic what happened. And it's just, I mean, I don't really have a lot of words to say, but I wanted to acknowledge it, and I wanted to say that in the wake of this tragedy, it's been crazy to look out online and see how much love and how many lives Benny touched. You know, it's one of those things where when Toriyama died, a lot of us had a conversation, which was essentially like, do you think he knew? Do you think he knew how many lives he touched? And when it came to Toriyama, I don't know that if he knew. I mean, I knew how many lives he touched. And with Benny, I mean, I'd like to believe that he knew what kind of impact he had and how much, like, 'cause guys, it's crazy. Like, I mean, you got Variety writing articles. You've got a lot of comic book writers. You got James Gunn chiming in. A lot of, like, Benny made this massive, monumental impact on the world. And I hope that he knew that, but I don't know that he did. And I'll tell you this, I didn't know that he made that kind of impact. So it's like one of those things where it's like really sad, and then you kind of take a step back and you're like, damn, but dude, what a life to touch that many people and to affect so many people positively. And the other thing that I'll say about Benny, because like I said, I only ever hung out with him one time in Philly during a panel, but Benny was such a bright spot in the world. And, you know, look, the content game is super stressful, and somebody like Benny came in at a different time and has watched a lot of the different changes and frankly struggled with adapting to some of the changes on YouTube and some of the changes maybe in just the world, the pop culture world, right? But Benny was always bright and loud and big, but positive. And in many ways, I wish I was more like him. I'm not. I mean, I think the honest truth is like I have a little bit more of an edge. I can be more of a grump, a curmudgeon. I can get really angry, and some of my brand is wrapped up into like being angry and like freaking out because people find it to be really entertaining. So I'm not Benny, but man, I gotta say, like, I kind of wish I was. Like, looking at the impact that this dude made, I was like, this is wild because his work was so good and he touched so many people's lives. But look at how many people just thought he was this positive force, like this very kind, you know, like force within the universe. It's crazy. Like, maybe I'm probably not articulating it the best way, but a tragic loss for the people that are close to him. You know, my heart goes out to his family, to his friends, and just a monumental loss. But I think also we lost one of the good ones. Like, just plainly, we lost a great human being that was positive and loving in a way that I admire and that I wish I could be more like. So, you know, that's pretty much all I have to say about it. It's absolutely tragic, and I hope there's a way for us to like help his family or do something that would continue to shine a spotlight on his great work and the great legacy that he left behind. So, I was happy to have met him, and I was happy to live in a world where he put out great work, and touched those lives. Pretty crazy. So may he rest in peace. Yeah. So I just kind of wanted to say that. That's pretty much all I got to say on that, guys. Definitely a pretty heavy one, and hit me kind of weird, if I'm being honest, because we're around the same age. We do a similar thing, and you know, like I've had conversations, you know, with my wife and stuff about what we would do, what she would do, right, if I passed or if something happened, because it's really scary that, like, you know, YouTube for me, and YouTube, I believe YouTube for Benny is like the primary source of income for his family. So it's like really scary to think about. And we did think about in the last couple of days, what would we do in that situation? What would my wife do if I passed and then she had to, like, you know what I mean? Like, figure out a way to keep this thing going just so that the kids can eat, you know? And it's like, damn, like, that is fucking, it's very, it has hit me in a really weird way. And, you know, I hope that they figure out some kind of solution and that they can make it through and that people rally around them. And I would hope that you guys would rally around my family if I was gone, and they would figure out a way to move forward. But it's just like, you know, we live life mostly just kind of bobbing around, engaging with stuff, and maybe not thinking about mortality or our own mortality in a lot of ways. And then things like this happen, and you're just kind of taken to a place where you have to face some really harsh realities about life and death, and everybody processes that stuff differently. So just kind of wanted to put that out there. God bless his family, and I hope they figure it out. And again, we lost one of the good ones. Okay, so we'll leave it there, and we'll go back to kind of what somehow hopefully can distract us from some of the morbid realities out there, and that would be complaining about Star Wars. So, in some weird way, even though a lot of us are really fucking mad about Acolyte, Star Wars, and Disney, I think at some level perhaps it's worth even being grateful that we get to kind of fuck off and fuck around for the next couple hours and complain about the space wizards. It's actually a blessing that we are not faced with more tragic and more serious circumstances. So keep it in perspective, and let's keep it moving, okay? All right. So, would also appreciate some fucking likes on the video. You know, we got like over 1,000 people here, and we've got less than 400 likes. That's damn ridiculous. So help me out. Get some likes on the video. And I'm also telling you that because we need to go to another poll. So here we go. Do you think Acolyte Episode 3 killed Star Wars? Boom. Boom, 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 baby. Pull up that Wolverine hot toy pic first, Josh. Dude, it looks so good. It looks so clean. Oh, my God. Yo, there is a Wolverine hot toy for the Days of Future Past Wolverine at my local exchange. I think it's like a couple $100. It might even be like $300 or something like that. But I keep thinking about that thing, man. Ever since I saw it in there, I was like, oh, I kind of want that shit. But yeah, the new hot toy for Wolverine looks absolutely fucking incredible. So really, really cool stuff. Okay, now, before we get into the Acolyte news, let me just I want to say a couple of things, a little bit of show notes. We are, of course, driving for memberships right now. In fact, where's the fucking thing? Where's the thing? Okay, let's get it. That popped up. Hopefully that thing is accurate. We are driving for memberships right now. Got 1,200 members. We're trying to get to 2,000 members. And if we get to 2,000 members, we're adding a additional permanent day to the streaming schedule, either Tuesday or Thursday probably. And we're also going to do an additional $200 GameStop gift card. Every single month, we give a $200 GameStop gift card to a lucky member. You can be a member on YouTube. You can be a member on Twitch. You could technically be a member on both and get 2 entries to win the $200 GameStop gift card. We will be drawing for that gift card on Friday. Friday, baby. Friday. Okay, so become a member so you can win the $200 gift card, and you can tell everybody I've been a member for 2 days and I won the drawing. It'll make everybody really mad. So that's the first thing, and thank you for all the support, guys. I appreciate it. Second thing, Unity Town Hall tomorrow night, 7:30. If you are a collector, we're going to be doing a town hall tomorrow. I want to update everybody about Unity. We'll talk about Chapter 2. We'll talk about all the characters, the future of the story, and we'll talk about how the production is going behind the scenes. So make sure you are there for that. In addition, tonight at 7:30 tonight, we have a members-only stream. We are deep diving on the Wolverine character in preparation for Deadpool and Wolverine. Last week, we watched a bunch of interviews with Len Wein, some stuff with Stan Lee, and their discussions of creating that character back in the day, the creation of the X-Men. So we kind of started slow, and we got into all the talk from Len Wein, who is the creator of Wolverine, along with Roy Thomas. And tonight, we're going to be going into the story. We're going to watch some videos, and guess what? We're going to watch some comic story videos tonight, and we're going to go through some of the most iconic Wolverine stories that have ever happened in Marvel Comics. And so that's going to be tonight at 7:30. I'm pretty excited about that stream, so come on by tonight if you are a member. I'm trying to think if there was something else. Oh, yes, correct. Thank you, Connor. Okay. So... we got some crazy shit coming out, man. Tomorrow night is The Boys. The Boys. And they're dropping 3 episodes. So it's like 3 hours of content that's dropping tomorrow. That's bananas, bro. That is bananas. So I'm gonna watch that tomorrow night. Or on Friday, we're gonna do a kind of 2-part stream. Okay, the first part of the stream will be breaking down the first 3 episodes of The Boys, talking about it. And then the second part of the stream on Friday is going to be researching for the House of the Dragon. House of the Dragon comes out on Sunday. I'm super excited for that shit. So on Friday, I want to watch some videos that kind of explain a little bit more of what happened in the books so that we are like primed and ready to go. We could pick out all the different characters and we're like, oh, that's this character in the book. This happens and blah, 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 right? We've heard that this season of House of the Dragon is going to go away from the books a bit. So there's going to be parts that are changes from the book. I think that's fine, but we want to know what they're going to be. So Friday, big stream, man. Big old long, girthy, wide stream. We're going to be breaking down the boys, and then we're going to be getting ready for Hot D. And then starting Monday, it's a House of the Dragon stream, dude. House of the Dragon stream on Monday, where we will break down the episode. I'm going to go frame by frame or like EFAP the episode, although I still have to figure that out because there might be like some nudity and violence that I got to blur out. We'll figure it out. But that's going to be Monday, and that's going to be Mondays from now on for the duration of House of the Dragon. I'm super excited for that show, man. Super excited. So yeah, that's what we're doing. That's what we're doing, and that's what's going on. Okay. Now, with all of that out of the way, for the last time, let's talk about the Acolyte. Okay, so first let's address this. The current poll asks, do you think the Acolyte Episode 3 killed Star Wars? Okay, 43% of people say yes right now. And 57% of people say no. Okay. Interesting. Last time, are you out? Yes, I'm out. Look, I explained this before. I'll explain it again in a little bit, but I'm not covering the show anymore. And I'll explain why. Now, let's explain and let's go through my experience of watching the Acolyte Episode 3. Now, when last we met our heroes, I had actually enjoyed Episode 1 and Episode 2 of The Acolyte, and that's true. I actually liked Episode 1. I liked Episode 2 a lot more. I think I gave Episode 1 like a 6 of 10, but it was a 6 out of 10 that was like, I was expecting way worse, right? So it was a 6 out of 10 where I was like, oh, okay, yeah, no, it's not bad. And Episode 2, I genuinely enjoyed. I was like, that's pretty good. 7, maybe 8. I liked Episode 2. And of course, the dialogue and the leaks about Episode 3 were out there. We did a stream on Monday kind of breaking it down, talking about why so many people were so upset about it. And so last night, turn on the episode, and I'm trying to keep an open mind, and I just put it on. I just put it on, okay? And unfortunately, I hated the episode almost immediately. Now, a lot of you guys have problems with, you know, all the stuff that we're going to talk about, all the stuff that was in the leaks. But for me, and I just got to be honest about this, like, it sucks to say, but it's also, I just have to be honest. I don't mean anything against these young actors. I'm not like I'm not like sneaking into their room and writing like, you really sucked in the Acolyte, like on their walls, right? I'm not hitting them up on social media. I'm not doing any shit like that. But I got to tell you, immediately, the two young actresses that play the young version of Osha and May, I hated them. Like a lot. Right away. And therefore, it was just super hard for me to get into the episode in any way, shape, or form. Like, dude, they were so fucking bad. And I'm like sitting there trying to think to myself, like, wait a minute. How is it possible that they are looking at the dailies, or even just like on set as they call action? How is it possible that people are watching this and not saying, well, this is kind of dog shit. We probably got to change this. Like, I'm telling you, dude, I couldn't fucking get it out of my mind. And I have ADD. I'm neurodivergent. So sometimes when something gets stuck in my old brain, good fucking luck, bro. Like, that shit is not, it's not going away. For better or worse. Oh my God. I thought they were so bad. It was so fucking bad, dude. Like, there's the scene where the mom lady, that lady, she's like teaching a class about like the Force, and the kids are like in the background just and I just wanted to get over and fucking strangle those kids, dude. It was some of the worst shit I've ever seen in my life. Absolutely horrible. And for me, that's just a deal breaker. It's immediately a deal breaker. I can't get into the show when that's what you're offering me. Okay, so that's like my first thing and my big disclaimer. And I said, as somebody that enjoyed the first 2 episodes, I think Amandla is super compelling on stream. I know some people don't like her. It's fine. I found her to be very charismatic and very good. And this is an episode where they take her out of the show and replace her with 2 absolutely terrible actors, and it's just really hard for me to get over that. It was really fucking bad. Okay? Now, beyond that, this episode is so unremarkable. I couldn't believe it. We were talking on Monday, and I said, look, they got a lot of crazy shit planned. And according to the leaks and according to what a lot of people are saying, like, this is going to ruffle some feathers. 100%. That's the whole point of us doing this stream, was like, hey, bro, just so you know, those feathers you got, they're about to get ruffled. Okay? And I was shocked at how unremarkable the episode is. Like, I couldn't even get a grasp on the structure that the Coven existed in. Sometimes it felt like it was a dungeon. Sometimes it felt like it was a castle. I couldn't make any sense of what I was, like, the environment I was in wasn't even established. I couldn't even, like, figure out where the fuck I was at, what was happening. The witches themselves, so flat and unremarkable. There's nothing interesting. Not the way they move, not the way they dress, not the way they use the Force. Like, we go to this part where we get the Force training with the witches, and they're literally just Force pushing each other. What? Like, how is that your super compelling, new, awesome thing that you want to do in Star Wars? They're literally just fucking pushing each other? It's so unremarkable. It's so fucking bad, dude. It was so fucking bad. It was, I don't know, man. I was just, like, shocked at how trash it was. And then the Jedi just fucking show up? There's no shot of the Jedi coming in. There's no establishment of that. It literally felt like I'm watching a stage play, and they literally exit or enter stage right through some kind of arch. You know, and I was just talking to Elisa about this morning, right? In the movie 300, you have an ambassador for the Persian Empire, okay? And the way they establish that guy is like with these awesome, grandiose shots of course, Zack Snyder's typical slow-mo, as he rides through these awesome fields outside of Sparta. You see the heads of all the kings on the homie's horse. And he gets there and, like, you know, rises up in the horse. This is like a super epic thing. And then, boom, he's in Sparta. You, like, it matters. It visually matters, and it's interesting how he's established as an antagonist. And then he's in Sparta, and then you're talking to him, and then there's, like, context added. But the establishing aspect of that guy entering Sparta is, like, an important part of the story. Unless I missed it, they literally kind of, like, just come out of nowhere. The fucking Jedi just come out of nowhere in like a singular set piece where they're all just standing on a thing of stairs. It's so fucking unremarkable. Like, did nobody just take a look at this and be like, yo, this just doesn't even look good. It's not interesting. They're all just on the steps. The sisters are hiding in the what are we doing here? The Jedi just come out. Like, what are we doing here? You've got to give credit to Dave Filoni in Ahsoka, because even the first 3 episodes of Ahsoka, which I think are lackluster, they establish things and they use Star Wars-esque themes and imagery to bring you in. You know, if it's Balin and Shin and the red lightsabers and all that shit, or like Ahsoka and the atmosphere of her discovering stuff, and then the robots and the like, dude, there ain't nothing like in this episode. I'd still like episode 1 and 2. But this episode felt like they were making it bad on purpose or something. Like, it was like really unremarkable. You know, the Force concepts of like the thread and the witches, and then, you know, the fact that the one mom says I carried them, and the other mom says I made them. Now, that might just piss you off because you just think it's a self-insert and it's woke and all these different things. But I'm sitting there like, so you're just going to like tell us that? I mean, sure, I guess it's fine. But like, why not like do something cooler? Like, I was thinking about like a crazy montage, right? Like, what if the whole episode started with a montage of them being exiled, being hunted, their numbers dwindling, the desperation of the tribe, and then this attempt to do some kind of spell or something, and then you actually see the conception. It's like, that would at least be fucking cool. But instead, we just get a cringy dialogue scene where basically Leslie's like, oh, I want them to know for sure that it's a lesbian forced conception. So they need to like say that. And it just feels unremarkable. And it feels like the goal wasn't to shock or awe or take us on a journey or unravel a mystery. The goal was just to trigger Twitter. That's legitimately what it feels like. And you might not agree, but I think Leslie Headland is somewhere fucking cackling because the breakdown of the discourse is by design. I think she did it on purpose. There's a way that you could self-insert and do stuff that's risky, bold, and maybe even abrasive. But then your brain goes, oh, but it's Star Wars, it's hallowed ground, it's sacred, so we at least got to make it fucking cool as shit. We've got to make it feel like it matches up to the mythology. We got to make it feel like Star Wars. And a lot of people have said for a long time, when it comes to this culture war stuff, the issue is not messaging, because messaging has always been in Hollywood. It's always been a part of Hollywood. The difference is, what is the priority of the show? What is the show or the content trying to accomplish? Because it has to entertain first. It has to entertain first. I would argue, especially when it comes to an IP. This is an established IP. This is an IP you paid $4 billion for that had a built-in fan base with built-in cash flow. And I think you have to try to respect that. And this episode really did feel like the energy, the effort of the creators and the energy of everybody that made the show was not to make great Star Wars. It was to make like lesbian witchy Star Wars. Right? Now, here's the thing. When I was watching the episode, and again, dude, for me, I could not, like, it was over the minute those little girls started talking to each other. And also, they're terrible together. There's actually some scenes later on where, like, there's a scene with Saul and Osha, and I'm like, damn, she's actually not bad there. But that's because she's acting off of Saul, who's, like, this really good actor. There are even scenes with the Yas lady that are decent with the girls. But together, straight trash. Straight trash. When they're together talking to each other, I wanted to jump out of a tall building, and I don't even live in a tall building. Like, I was out, my wife's like, what are you doing out? I'm like, I'm looking for the tallest building. Like, it was that fucking bad. Horrible. Trash. Worse than I can even imagine. I'm actually holding back because I don't want to be super rude to, like, these young actresses, but yeah, let's just leave it there. It was over for me then. But I will say this. I did not, as I was watching the show, I did not feel like it was as egregious as maybe I thought it was going to be. I did not think the lore was bent as much as maybe I thought it was going to be. And I didn't think it was as, like, I literally thought all of that stuff, that aspect of the episode, it wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. I didn't think that they destroyed the lore. I didn't think they destroyed Star Wars, okay? As I was watching it, that's my honest feeling. Okay? However, the more I thought about it, and the more I started asking myself certain questions, the more I was like, man, I can't really defend it. Like, here, as an example, I had to ask myself, right? Okay, so maybe it's not as bad as you thought, but did you like it? Right? It's like, I was like, okay, so yeah, maybe it's not as bad as you thought. Maybe you think other people are overreacting, for sure. But did you like it, Josh? And I was like, wait, no, I didn't like it. Then I asked myself, did you want it? No. I didn't want it. And then the third and maybe most important decision, or important question, do you support it? So I kind of go from, it wasn't as bad as I thought, internet's doing internet things, whatever, right? And then I start thinking about it, I'm like, but did I like it? No. Did I want it? No. Do I support it? The answer is no. Right? And it's like, oh, shit. Okay. And I started to kind of like shift my perspective on it because I think, you know, I'm the kind of person, like, I can be very, you guys know me. I'm a big fence rider. I don't like the culture war. I think a lot of the people that are super engaged in the culture war are like, it's just a silly exercise. It just feels silly to me. But it also exists, right? I can't deny that it exists, and I can't deny that it's very important to a lot of you. I would be making the same mistake that Lucasfilm is making if I were to discredit how much it matters to so many of you. And I don't want to make that mistake. And the more I thought about it, man, I was like, I think there's a difference between realizing maybe it's not as bad for me personally as I expected it could have been, and realizing that it is still ultimately something that I didn't like, I didn't want, and I don't support. Right? So, that's kind of my overall take on it. And I want to say one more thing before we steel man these different arguments and what's going on. I have been super critical of Lucasfilm over the past several years because I feel like they're not reading the room and they're making content or signaling with their PR or, you know, HR or whatever. They're basically fueling right into the culture war debate. I mean, if you go all the way back, I've brought this up before, right? But it's an important thing. It matters to me. And like, I'll say this on Twitter sometimes, and people just won't get it, right? I will say Lucasfilm created the division. And a lot of people disagree. People like Kyle Katarn and, you know, other people like that they just disagree because they view the people that are very disgruntled or the culture war warriors, they view them as bad people. Wrong think, bad people, right? But I don't think that. And one of the people that I, you know, have talked to a lot over the past couple of years about this has been Jay, Drunk 3PO. I did a podcast episode with Jay, and within that podcast episode, one of the things we talked about, one of the things I really wanted to talk about, was the fact that people from Lucasfilm picked his comments out on Twitter when he was literally nobody. I mean, he's still kind of fucking nobody, if you ask me. But the point is, before Jay had a platform, I think it was either Brian Ward or Pablo Hidalgo, they found his tweet like a needle in a haystack, retweeted him, and basically called him a bigot because he thought Rey was a flat character in front of thousands and thousands of people on Twitter. What a lot of people don't want to admit is that the fandom menace and a lot of the people that are anti-Star Wars right now, they found each other because Lucasfilm employees were publicly dogpiling them years ago. Right? And so that's something that, like, maybe Lucasfilm doesn't want to admit. Maybe it's uncomfortable for certain people to talk about, but it's never far from my mind because I know the truth of what happened. And Lucasfilm is responsible for the division, and Kathy is responsible for creating culture that thought it was okay to dogpile random fans on Twitter for not liking Rey. Fast forward several years later, and that is really, like, we live in the wake of those waves. And so for years, I have said, Kathleen Kennedy created a toxic culture that attacked portions of the fan base for their political affiliations or their beliefs that could be put into little buckets that feel like political affiliations. They did that. And now years later, to me, Acolyte, and particularly Acolyte episode 3, it feels like the biggest version of fuck those people that I've ever seen. And it might be the case, like, given the benefit of the doubt to Leslie, right? It could be the case that that's not her intention. It's possible that Leslie's just trying to make a cool Star Wars show that feels intimate to her and deals with the things she cares about, and she's just trying to do it. The problem is, the fan base is already broken. Those tropes and those ideas are already out there. So this feels like doubling and tripling down. So it kind of doesn't matter what her intention is. In its execution, this feels like the most egregious slap in the face to those kind of fans that I've ever seen. Okay? And the big reason that I am no longer going to cover Acolyte and don't want to talk about it anymore is because, like, I didn't get into covering Star Wars or Marvel to have streams where we talk about, like, is it homophobic to not want a bunch of gay stuff in Star Wars? And, like parsing out the nuance of that conversation and trying to have like, dude, I didn't get into Star Wars to have that conversation. No, thank you. And Acolyte, as I've been saying, is a show that demands you have that conversation. It necessitates conversations that I don't want to have about Star Wars. Right? So I'm out. After today, I'm out. Like, I just don't care. I don't care enough to continue to have these kind of conversations. These kind of conversations generate a lot of interest, a lot of revenue, literally, for me. But it's not what I got into the space to talk about or do. So after today, I'm out. I'm not going to cover Acolyte anymore. There's a lot of other fun channels out there and conversation, you know, all kinds of cool stuff where you guys can kind of get your Acolyte fix. I just want to talk about nerdy shit, and I want to celebrate nerdy shit and talk about theories and talk about speculation and cool rumors and leaks and all that sort of stuff, right? So today will be the last day. We're not doing that shit over here. And yeah, that's honestly how I feel about it. Now, let's at least give it our due diligence here and try to, you know, properly break this down and talk about it. So some of the questions that we had going into this on Monday, right, had to do with, is the show purposely changing and disrespecting Star Wars lore? Okay? Now, I'm going to do something that's going to probably upset a lot of people, but I think it's fair, and I think I have to do it to do this properly. I'm going to steel man the position of the Acolyte and the fact that it doesn't do that. Okay? So feel free to throw in your questions, your complaints, your anger, and all this sort of stuff, right? But I got to tell you, I don't actually think it destroys any of the lore. So the witches themselves, while stupid, unremarkable, and weird and self-inserty, they don't, by their existence, destroy anything within the lore. They feel similar to the Night Sisters. I'm not really sure what the details are of them. But the idea that different groups of people would interpret the Force in a different way, that's been in Star Wars from the beginning. I mean, it was literally called The Adventure of Luke Starkiller as told in the Journal of the Wills. And the Wills were omnipotent beings that viewed the cosmic force and the living force in completely different ways than, you know, Luke would, right? You've got the Sith, you've got the Will, you've got the Shaman of the Wills, you have the Ones, the Celestials, you have the Jedi, you've got the Rakatan Empire. You've always had different groups that interpret the Force in different ways, including the Night Sisters, right? So I don't think that the witches just existing and the fact that they talk about the Force as a thread as opposed to like an actual force that you can use, I don't think that breaks the lore. I don't feel like that is any contradiction to what happened. As far as the actual birth here, okay? Do I think Star Wars... Like, basically, I think this is the question. And I'd love to know what you guys think. If this is another form of virgin birth, do you personally feel like that shits on the legacy of the Chosen One and breaks the lore? Do you think that it does? Right. So we've got, you know, mixed opinions, but I think a lot of people do. Again, I would tell you, like, there's no reason for the show to go there and do it. But it's going to depend, for me personally, on what really happened. Because after the Yas lady says that she created them, her partner says, and what if the Jedi find out how you created them? Okay? to me, it all depends on how she created them. Like, there are ways that this could be accomplished without actually breaking the lore of the Chosen One and the prophecy born of the Force. Right? So, as some examples, what if she found a way to recreate, like, the male side from some ancient Sith? I think there's a difference between someone born of the Force and somebody born without a father. I mean, technically, aren't all of the clones fatherless? Like, you could say their father is Jango, but that's not really true. They don't have a father. I suppose the male DNA, because, like, dude, you know who their real father is? Their father is Jango's father. It's not Jango. Because if they are a clone of Jango, they are literally him. Meaning the byproduct of his biological mother and his biological father. Right? So, this is probably not going to happen. But you know what would be kind of cool? You know what would be kind of cool? If this tribe of witches did some kind of magic to resurrect Darth Bane and have Darth Bane do sexy time with the other witch. Or take the essence of some ancient Sith and use that to create the children. Okay? Now, let's be honest, that's probably not what they're going to do, right? But what I'm saying to you is, it's still too early for me to say 100% definitively this breaks the lore and makes Anakin not shit. Now, there's a couple of questions I have about this, too, because why didn't any of the Jedi bring up the prophecy of the Chosen One? I believe the prophecy of the Chosen One dates back, what, thousands of years? This is in the Claudia Gray novel with Qui-Gon and Master and Apprentice. In Master and Apprentice, they talk about all these different prophecies that the Jedi have known about. Some of them are thousands of years old. So I'm a bit confused as to why the Jedi, upon hearing that there was no father, like, why didn't they think, like, conception of the Force? Why didn't they think Chosen One, right? So I'm kind of like interested in how that could actually go down, why they weren't thinking this is it. Maybe they just thought they were crazy or something. And there's something about the way she said, wait until they find out how you created them. Meaning the Force did not create these babies. The witches did. Right? So, like, to me, I'm just being honest, like, I think it was a stupid idea. I think it's way too close to the sacred cows of Star Wars. And I also kind of think Leslie did that on purpose. I think she was trying to be as egregious as possible. However, if we're steel manning for the show, which is what we're doing right now, technically speaking, I don't think we know enough to know whether or not it breaks the lore. We also know it doesn't really amount to much. It's not like they're going to retcon the prequels now and have these two twins be the actual Chosen Ones. And like Anakin and Ahsoka, like, what the fuck's he doing there? It should be Osha and May, right? So we already know there's kind of a limit or a ceiling on where this could possibly go. And we know that it doesn't actually interact with anything that we actually love with Star Wars, right? So, we're steel manning here. And I have to say, I personally don't think that it, I don't think we know for certain. Okay? Now, the other thing that I found to be so fucking crazy, and I'm sure many of you did too, was the turn with May, where she's like, I'm going to kill you, and then grabs the lantern and, like, lights the journal on fire, and then the next thing you know, the wall's on fire and shit like that. Okay? And yes, it is very stupid. However, I don't think what we were shown in this episode was what actually happened. Like, and look, I know this is so, like, some people are like, no, I can't. I fucking can't, Josh. I can't. What do you mean? What do you mean? What are you trying to say? What I'm trying to say is, like, if you think about it, all we see is May say that shit, light the thing on fire. Next thing we know, all of the witches are dead, and the fire is consuming everything. Right? So I think what they're going to do, and I'm not the only person that thinks this. There's a lot of people on Twitter that think this is what's happening. We're going to see a different perspective here. Right? Where the Jedi are very likely the people that actually killed the witches. The Jedi are very likely the people that maybe even caused May to be like that. Right? Because, like, why would May say, I'm going to kill you, unless she already knew that because of OSHA, everybody's dead. The Jedi have killed everybody, and now I'm going to kill you. Do you know what I mean? So, one of the other things I really didn't like about the episode, and I hope I've been clear, I really did not like this episode. It's super uneven for me. One of the things I found so frustrating was, like, when the Yas lady makes that Padawan's eyes go black, and then she, like, just releases him because the daughter wants to be a Jedi. I was like, whoa, hold on. So none of the Jedi are going to be like, yo, that was pretty fucked up, Yas lady. You can't just do that to the Jedi. We got to talk about this. Like, nobody even acknowledges it. It was so dumb. I was like, this is the most uneven, stupid shit I've ever seen in my life. But part of me thinks maybe that's not even what happened. Like, what if, after that happened, the Padawan, who again was the guy that, like, kills himself out of white guilt in episode 2, that guy, who, by the way, aged horribly. Holy shit, he just aged so badly. But that guy, after being taken over by the witches, like, you'd think he would have some kind of a reaction, right? You'd think he would be like, bro, fuck these witches. Like, we can't just, like, they just took over my mind. And I would assume his master would feel certain, like, the same way, right? So I'm like, what the fuck? Like, that's so stupid. So maybe they get the one girl recruited, and the Padawan and Trinity Jedi go in, mind trick the witches, or do something that then causes them all to die. And maybe, and this would be really fucked up, but maybe they even did a mind trick on May to start the fire, so that then they cover up their tracks and make it seem really tragic. And it feels like Saul is not aware of this. Like, that's what it feels like to me while watching the episode. But I think the other Jedi are aware of it. Like, why would the guy take the poison? Like, why would he say, sorry, I thought we were doing the right thing, by just showing up, getting his mind taken over by a Sith, and then the Sith chick goes crazy and burns everybody down? Why would he feel guilt about that? That doesn't make any sense. So I think there's more to it. And I do think that we could get explanations here. What if it's not a virgin birth? You know what I mean? I can see so many of you are like, and it doesn't matter. This is why I love the Star Wars fan base. And when I say I love the Star Wars fan base, I can't fucking stand y'all. This is why. I did about, I don't know, 40 minutes of shitting on the show, complaining on the show, and talking about why I rejected it and I'm no longer going to cover it. For 20 minutes, I try to steel man the show. And I've got a bunch of you motherfuckers in chat that are like this. Josh is... What? Chill. Unfucking believable. Anyway. Yeah, so if I had to say it again for the people in the back. If we're steel manning the show, if I'm being intellectually honest, I don't think we can say for sure at this moment that this breaks canon or does all of this kind of destruction. Okay? But ultimately, I think maybe what matters more and what I think is the real reason why this show is breaking Star Wars, it's like this. Maybe I had it a little twisted. Okay? Because I'm sitting there like, is this shit going to destroy Star Wars? Like, I'm watching it. I'm like, I don't really think so. I mean, it's unremarkable crap. But I don't, like, that's not really changing the lore. Like, yes, the lesbian force birth thing is obviously a self-insert. And again, I think Leslie's probably watching the stream right now. And she's like, like, she's so fucking excited that we got to talk about lesbian force births. You know what? You got me, Leslie. We got to talk about it. I think it's whack. Does it break the lore? I'm not ready to say that it breaks the lore yet. Okay? But here's the thing. The more I thought about it, and this is what I was saying earlier, it's like, it doesn't break Star Wars from the perspective of the lore. At least not yet. But does it break Star Wars? Maybe. Maybe. Because I think for a lot of people, as I've tried to explain throughout the stream, it's a death by 1,000 cuts. You know, like it's not like Acolyte comes out right after Force Awakens when everybody's like excited about Star Wars again. Although I kind of wish it did. I'd love to see the reactions. But this show comes out after years of mediocrity, after years of them being divisive to their own fans, after years of like fucking people. Like, dude, I'm really trying to be chill because there's some people that I was like, I saw some takes online and it sent me. Like, imagine me sitting here being like, well, yes, there are not a lot of white dudes in the show. Maybe that's intentional, but guys, it's really not that deep. I don't think they're trying to make this meta commentary. They're not trying to do this. And then you've got people that Lucasfilm literally invites to the premiere that are saying like, no, it's actually like, how would they have peace with white people? Clearly, there can't be white people in the show because they're talking about a time of peace. And I get it. Like we had a good run. White people and yeah, easy target, low hanging fruit, maybe. But like, you literally see that from people. And it's just like, you know what? That's actually what's killing Star Wars. The fact that that's acceptable to say. Like, it makes me feel fucking stupid for trying to carry water for the show at all. Like, trying to be the voice of reason in the room that's like, just because there are no white people doesn't mean they hate white people. And then the people that Lucasfilm invited to the premiere are like, dude, I fucking hate white people too. I love this show. It's like, it makes me feel fucking stupid. So, is Star Wars dead? I don't know, bro. Fucking maybe. I think it's dead for a lot of people. And it's like, what does that mean, by the way? Just, okay, let's pivot the conversation. You're losing your mind, Josh? Eric, you have no idea, bro. You have no idea. So let me ask you guys. If this episode killed Star Wars for you, what does that mean? What does it look like? Like, what does it look like in practice? Like, what does that mean for you? No more Disney Star Wars. Just watching it burn. Okay. This shit got people in meltdown. Star Wars dialogue been dead since prequels and act like a renaissance is going to happen. Every new release out of spite towards Disney. Come on, just move on. Yeah. I mean, I'm done with stuff. Yeah, but what does that look like? Like, are you canceling Disney Plus? Like, what does it look like? Because I got to be honest with you. I feel like Kathleen Kennedy and Leslie Headland are playing some kind of gay game of chicken where they're driving right at you. And they're like, oh, you said you were done. You said it's dead. And they're coming right at you, bro. So what are you going to do? That's what I want to know. Because I don't know if I can lose any more respect for Kathleen Kennedy and for the current regime at Lucasfilm. Like, literally. I don't think I can have any less respect for her or for them. But I might lose some respect for y'all if the next Star Wars show does pretty much the same numbers. If Disney Plus has pretty much the same numbers. If Star Wars sales in merchandise has pretty much the same numbers. I'm going to lose some respect for y'all. Yeah, you specifically, Milkman. You. Like, you're talking the talk. Where's the walk? Like, what are y'all gonna do? Like, what are you do? Like, seriously, what are you doing? In action, what are you doing? Nobody has an answer? Pirate the show. Okay. Okay, well, at least that's something. You're gonna actually do that? Like, what are you guys gonna do? We're gonna pull a Torben? What does that mean? Oh no, don't do that. Like, what are you guys gonna do? We already walked out? I mean, the show did 4 million views in a day when it premiered. So, like, what? Like, you already walked out? What? Stop repeating it. I'm telling you. You're telling me what, brother? Put it into the chat again. I'm sorry if I missed it. I would say Sony live action garbage actually dead. We don't even talk about it or cover it. That's dead. Yeah, that's true. That's fair. That's fair. Yeah. Watch more anime. Dude, you're so brave. My man's over here like, I'm gonna have my waifu pillow and I'm watching more anime. You're fucking brave. Damn, hold the line, brother. Hold the line. Hold the line. I really don't like this question seems to have put you in a pretzel. Like, I'm just trying to act, like, like, what the fuck are you going to do? All right, maybe that's unfair, right? Maybe that's unfair. Am I being unfair in that question? Because I'll tell you what you're going to do. Fucking nothing. You're going to show up for the next one. You're going to complain about it on people's streams and on Twitter. You're going to show up for the one after that. You're probably still going to buy hundreds of dollars of Star Wars shit every year. You're not doing nothing. And by the way, I would love it if I was wrong. Because I don't like what's happening with Star Wars right now. And I want it to hurt so badly that they have to alter course. But we've been like crying the woke wolf for 4 or 5 years, and I can't see any difference. Arguably, it's gotten worse. You know what I mean? What's your plan then? My plan is to not talk about the Acolyte ever again. Like, that's what I'm going to do. I'm actually going to stop. I might watch a couple more episodes, and if I hear the back half's really good, maybe I'll watch it. But, like, next week, there's not going to be one of these. Like, I'm not doing this again. And when Andor came out, I did the same thing. I gave Andor a try, fucking hated it, and I never covered it again. I didn't even watch the rest of it. So what I'm going to do is, I mean, because, like, to me, I could see a scenario in which Acolyte actually starts being about the Sith and becomes interesting, and I want to know about the Sith, but barring that happening, I'm probably done with the show. I'm way more excited about House of the Dragon, about The Boys, about a lot of stuff that Marvel's doing, different video games. Like, there's a lot of stuff I'm excited about. So I'd rather, like, watch those things, talk about those things, be excited about those things. That's what I'm going to do. I guess what I'm trying to say is the current strategy of people out there saying it's dead, but covering every single show and getting views based off of the rage for the show is not moving the needle. Like, I think if we just took a step back and you understand that the most recent shit is the most egregious, then maybe we should just realize that the current plan isn't doing anything. That's all I'm trying to suggest. And whatever you guys do with your free time, totally you. That's on you. I'm just trying to put the idea out there that if you're actually mad beyond Schadenfreude, because some people just like to complain and shit on stuff, that's cool. But if you're way past that, I just don't think you're doing anything. And there doesn't seem to be any effort or energy that's being put forth to actually change it or make a difference. If I wanted to take it even further, which I don't, but if I wanted to take it even further, I would suggest that it's not even that benign. It's actually the opposite. In fact, certain people are actually benefiting from how mad you are about Star Wars every single time. You know, but again, we don't have to take it there. We don't got to go there. We don't have to take it there. Let's not actually think too hard about this stuff, right? So, let's get into all of the super chats, member chats, and questions and concerns that you guys have. Here we go. Rossi says, yes, it was not good. 2 out of 10. Yeah, I would give it 4 out of 10. That's what I would say. I think it's pretty abysmally bad. 4 out of 10. Vinny Diaz says, it wasn't as bad as Luke and Ben in the last episode of Kenobi, but it's still pretty bad. Interesting. Okay. Locationary says, my take, people are overreacting. It didn't break canon. Episode was mid. Torben probably killed the witches, which is why he had guilt. Yeah, I think that's fair. We talked about it a little bit. Yeah, no, I think that's probably where I'm at with it as well. Okay. Mr. JB gifting 5 memberships. Let's go, baby. Thanks for the love, man. Thank you for the support. Appreciate you. Locationary follows up and says, also, Jedi, and hang on, I gotta do a thing here. Also, Jedi probably didn't have the rules about being a certain age. Wait, what? What are you talking about? Chris P. Chicken, that's kind of a cool name, says there's definitely bad writing, but if they tie in Abeloth to the Sith, that well of darkness and magic birth, I'll get past the horrible chanting. Yeah, the chanting was really bad, huh? But it's just like, there's nothing exciting about it. Like, there's nothing cool about it. It felt like really low budget and cringy, and I'm just like, what the fuck are we doing here? And the whole idea of like, oh, we're going to show these witches use the Force, and they're just going to push back and forth on each other. Like, at what point, somebody's got to come in over the top and be like, you know, this isn't very visually exciting. Like, this isn't cool at all. This feels like a commercial for the Star Cruiser, not the big Star Wars show that we spent almost $200 million on. Like, what? Yeah. Rossi, again, thank you. Cloned Avenger says, bro, Jesus Christ, why are you never bring up DC at all? Been some news with Green Lantern, Superman casting, but haven't seen you discuss it or bring up DC ever. LOL. Well, first of all, you could have just asked me about it instead of asking me about why I'm not talking about it. And the reason that I'm not talking about it is because I don't really think it's that big of a deal. Like, I'm super skeptical of what James Gunn will do with the DCU. I want it to be really good, but I can't get excited about, like, Booster Gold's writing room, the Green Lantern show, maybe having Lindelof. Like, I can't get excited about that because if Superman doesn't work, it's all over, dude. And I've also been around long enough to watch what DC does and watch how Warner Brothers does it. So, yeah, I can't get, like, you want me to start getting excited about DC stuff? Show me some good DC stuff, and then I'll start to get excited. H. Chris says, could you possibly put Benny into Unity? That's a great idea, bro. Yeah, that's a great idea. Got to do it. 100%. Zach Pombier says, good take, Josh. I think the episode wasn't bad, but Leslie is arrogant AF for copying what George did with the Chosen One prophecy. Much love, Nerd Avengers for life. Yeah. And also, if you're going to do something like that, you've got to make it phenomenal. Like, this is just not good enough. Like, it's so risky, so inflammatory, and they don't back it up with also being so good. So, you know, ultimately, that's kind of where I land. Rossi says, with a very generous $20 holla, says, last night, someone said Josh is shill lately. I nicely said, I don't think he is. He just speaks his mind. Josh is a great dude. I don't agree with all of his takes, but I love the guy. The person said, okay, you sold me. Nerd Avengers for life. That was actually me. I was on one of my sock puppet accounts. Sometimes I'll talk shit about myself and then, like, fake that I now flipped. So it was actually me. But thank you. Appreciate you. Angel Stark says, Josh, check your DM on the Twitter, G. I think I saw your message. And I think you were... Look, here's what I'll say to you, bro. There's all sorts of interesting ideas that could have been explored. Interesting ways to do what was done in this episode that would have made it more palatable. I'm going to say something right now, and chat's going to lose their fucking mind. You ready? I think witches are cool. I kind of think it's cool to have a powerful, all-female group of mischief-making ladies. I think it's kind of fucking cool. I think there are examples throughout history and throughout our mythology in which there have been women like that and groups of women like that and groups of women like that in mythology. I think it's kind of cool. But the way it's done in this episode is just unremarkable. It's just lame. Like, they didn't do enough to make it really fucking cool. It just feels like a watered down version of the Night Sisters to me. Yeah, so that's what I say. Tony says, Star Wars has lost my trust. Marvel is borderline in the same boat. Oh, God. I can't even get my friends interested in either and find myself checking out more and more. Yeah, dude. Totally reasonable opinion to have as somebody that used to cover Star Wars and Marvel. I've seen it firsthand, brother. I've seen it. I've seen the interest go down. I've seen my numbers reflected of the waning interest. And look, I mean, nobody is more invested in Marvel becoming better than me. You know? Like, part of this is literally like they're fucking up my bread. And I know that's so like it's kind of selfish. It's kind of like, but why do you even have bread from this? It's kind of like a weird scenario I find myself, right, where I make all this money from, like, talking about nerdy shit. But it's true. Like, Disney's fucking up my bread by being this ass with a lot of their content, which I happen to create a YouTube channel that covers their content. So trust me, nobody feels it more than me. Okay? But I'm still optimistic about Marvel. Like, genuinely. And I do not share that optimism when it comes to Star Wars. So I hear you, but as somebody that's very close to this stuff, I am actually pretty excited about what Marvel's cooking. Caden, welcome to the Nerd Avengers. Zach, thank you for gifting a member. JJ Lemon, thank you for gifting a member. Angel Stark, I hear you, brother. JJ Lemon says, if you win the gift card from my gifted membership, you owe me a hug. Hashtag unity. Oh, hell yeah, bro. I think that's true. I think that's actually a good take. Tim O'Brien says, Josh, my dude, from someone who thought the first two episodes were decent and thought the show had potential, I can't believe how bad this episode was. I face palmed so many times. Cringed plus felt anger. Oh yeah, it's dog shit. This episode's horrible. And man, like, it's just crazy. It's crazy that they would make such a bad episode that tackles so many sensitive things to people. Like, wow. Okay, Rockaway Poppy says, R.I.P. Benny, such a talented guy, and his positive energy shined through his work. Crackacoom. What a loss. Dude, I know. I don't know. It's hit me really weird. Like the situation with Benny has hit me in a very weird way. I'm still processing it. Yeah. Jeff says, finally able to watch a stream again. 3.5 years as a member and absolutely love what you do here. Can't wait for Hot D. Nerd Avengers for life. Hey, I appreciate you, brother. Here's the thing. 3.5. That's a lot of support. Here's what I think. I'm just gonna be honest, okay? So buckle up for a little bit of honesty. I think I'm great. I think I'm really insightful and entertaining and funny. I think I'm really good. And I wish everybody liked me. But I am unfortunately not everybody's cup of tea. That's just the reality. I am not everybody's cup of tea. And that's just something that I've had to kind of realize. So if you're here, if you fuck with me, if you support, I appreciate you, and I'm going to keep showing up. I'm going to keep trying to get better. I'm going to keep trying to quit Star Wars, and we're going to have a lot of fucking fun. And if I'm not your cup of tea, I'm sorry. Just is what it is. I'm not really going to change. I'm probably going to keep being annoying. I'm going to keep riding the fence. I'm going to keep calling out the left and the right, so they're both going to get really fucking mad at me. I am what I is. And I is what I am. Okay. Ascending Rumble says, it's time for Elon Musk to buy Star Wars and purge 90% of Disney's work. For real, though. Love you, Josh. Nerd Avengers for life. Hashtag take my money. Appreciate you, brother. Yeah, I mean, at this point, I'm open to it. At this point, I'm open to AI running all of Star Wars. And there's another one that's going to make me real popular, right? But it's true. Like, at this point, I would literally rather Chat GPT run Star Wars than Kathleen Kennedy. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. That's how I feel. Everybody that just, like, said they like me is like, damn it, no, delete. Fuck Josh. Ah! You know? Okay. RG says, crazy theory is that Quimir is using Sith alchemy to create Force mask. I believe Quimir will be revealed to not only be an Acolyte, but as Pelagus. Coral might be the big bad, maybe with Abeloth ties. All that shit sounds way cooler than what they're doing in the show right now. So, I mean, it sounds good to me, bro. Like, hey. That sounds cool. Goat Lord, with a very generous 100 thingies, says, witches say the Force is a thread that connects and binds us. Jedi say the Force surrounds and binds us. It's the same thing, just different interpretations, not a redefinition. Why are people mad? Well, Goat Lord, I gotta tell you, on this one, I actually agree with you, dude. I don't think that is so benign to me. It doesn't contradict anything. I'm not bothered by that shit at all. So, yeah, no, I kind of agree with you. Now, why would people not like it? I think it's because perhaps the way it's presented in partially because of like the interviews, the promotion, the lesbian forced birth stuff that feels like a super obvious self-insert. I think it's just probably the case that people are interpreting it as her saying the Jedi are wrong. I don't think that's what's happening, but I would imagine that's how people are interpreting it. So, JJ Lamont says, I usually never hop on to say negative stuff. This was the worst episode of anything I've seen lately. So bad and so corny. Yeah, I agree. I was shocked at how bad it was. So bad, dude. Miguel says, get the little girl on NFL team now. Her little shrug knocked down her sister instantly. Also, a Stone Fortress caught fire, by the way. Much love. Yeah, maybe the witches, they're really good with the force pushing and the creating of children, but maybe they could have used a man to help create that palace a little bit better, because the fire hazards seem absurd. You know, just going to put that out there. Mav, what's up, brother? Says everything to take the Jedi down a notch or two. Therefore, no establishing shot. Rude intrusion into the ceremony. That's how it felt to me. Yeah, no, I feel the same way. IG Kevin says Star Wars universe is flammable except for people. Oh, jeez. Oh, boy. Yeah, maybe. Rossi says, may the gods have mercy on our souls. Yeah, hopefully. I mean, he's still cool, man. I like that. I like Soul. Soul is still a good character, for sure. Nuckin Futz 197 with a 5 spot says, everyone, including me, wanted to see that space lesbian conception. I like the episode, but you're making some solid points, my man. Keep it real, Josh. Hey, I appreciate you. And yeah, I mean, there's always like show, don't tell. And I think for many of us, you know, people my age, let's say, that grew up, you know, late 80s through the 90s, we had a saying, show, don't tell, especially when it's lesbians. So I hear you. I understand what you're saying. Delta Dan says, what up, nerd fam? Josh, I know it's not over yet, but Acolyte or Secret Invasion? Oh my god. Secret Invasion had a bigger budget, right? LOL. Nerd Vengers for life. Unity Chapter 2 was fire. Hashtag 3 amigos. Acolyte or Secret Invasion? I mean, it's too early to tell. That, I don't know. They are both equally garbage. N64 Rescue with a 5 spot says, loving your thoughts. I appreciate you, and I value your viewership and the $5, man. Thank you, seriously. Delta Dan, thanks for the gifted sub, man. Appreciate you. Mike Edens with a $10 hollow, the 3rd super chat that he's ever done, says, does your admirable desire for positive vibes on the channel ever skew your initial opinion? Do you like episode 1 and 2 in retrospect? I think that's a fair question. It's possible, for sure. Look, I think ultimately, the only thing I really owe the audience is authenticity. But I think you can be authentic and also change your mind. So like when Rise of Skywalker came out, right? I authentically enjoyed it when I first saw it. And there were like maybe weeks, maybe months where I authentically enjoyed it. And then that slowly started to turn. Now I kind of enjoy it still, but like in a different way, where I think it's so bad and it doesn't even try to be good. So I can just like, honestly, Rise of Skywalker is my favorite out of the sequel. Because it's like it knows it's bad and it's just gonna like go. It's like, ah, fuck it, this movie's trash. Let's just go. And I kind of enjoy it. Yeah, maybe it does, you know? Maybe it does. I mean, I want to have good vibes, which, by the way, and maybe some people don't agree with this, but I think today on stream, despite everything, we're still having a good time. I mean, are you guys having a good time? I'm having a good time. And I feel like, yeah, I'm trying to create like a good vibe. We're going over some really like hot button topics, like some really contentious things, you know? And I'm trying to not call specific people out and say, you know, certain stuff. So I think we're still doing that even right now. Now, as far as do I like episode 1 and 2 in retrospect? Yeah, for sure. I mean, I really like episode 2. I gave episode 1 a 6 out of 10. But it was a 6 out of 10 that I enjoyed, right? Like I was saying, I was surprised at how much I liked it. And I think it is a good, strong start. This episode is so bad. It's like, yeah. I would say I still like the first 2 episodes, but I couldn't tell you I'm enjoying the show. So it's like, it's almost like the 3rd episode is a more weighted part of the grade because it's the most recent. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? What up, Danny? Good to see you, brother. Chris P. Chicken with a 10 spot. Appreciate you, man. Says, for me, the biggest issue with the episode is that the Jedi in The Phantom Menace refused to train Anakin, even though he might be the chosen one because of his age. Twice. The Jedi find the 2 9-year-old girls, and they're like, hell yeah. Yeah, I think that's fair. I think that's fair. I don't know. For me, I wasn't like as super bothered by it. It does, like, they really are depicting the Jedi in like a super sus way. Like, even Soul, when he said both children to the moms or whatever, I was like, bro, okay, like, whoa, what the fuck? Like, it just feels like they are trying to show that the Jedi were shady and wrong back then. You know what I mean? Danny says, you and I are the only normal people on YouTube, Joshua, and I use normal very loosely. Yeah, I think you're probably right on that one, Danny. Yo, Danny, remember in the middle of the pandemic when you and I just had like a 6-hour conversation where we were just getting baked the whole fucking time, bro? Those were crazy times. But I think about that conversation. That was cool, man. We just were just like getting blazed, and we literally talked for like 6 hours. It's crazy. Yeah, Chris, I hear you, bro. The Exodus says, I'll never forget Hidalgo attacking Theory in 2020. Yeah, that's what I mean, though. It's like a lot of people will tell you that there isn't an antagonism from the people within Lucasfilm, and it's just like I don't think you're paying attention. Or maybe you just don't know and you're ignorant of it, and that's fine. But Kathy and the culture that she created has created this division and has led to where we are right now with like a really broken fan base. And I can point out multiple examples, whether it's Hidalgo, whether it's the fanboy tears, whether it's J.J. Abrams saying on late night television that everybody that doesn't like the movie just don't like the fact that Han Solo gave the Falcon to a girl. Like, they were literally trying to put you in the bucket of an Islamophobe since 2012. And it's documentable. Like, I'm not making it up, dude. It fucking happened. And I've just sat back and said, yeah, that's a mistake. That's a mistake. That's a mistake. And obviously the people in the fandom don't act the best way or do the best thing because they're just fucking passionate fans. It's not required of them to be a certain level of, you know, whatever. No, what's required of them is to like the shit that they like and support it. That's it. So it's just been like a fucking perfect storm. This is what I always say with Lucasfilm. Lucasfilm is an Ouroboros of stupidity. It is a snake of dumbness eating its own tail. just continuously. That's what Lucasfilm is to me. Dark Dragon X7 says, the wake-up call for me was when I realized I cared more about the story of the PSP Metal Gear game I'm currently playing than Acolyte. Oh, shit. Okay. Damn. Okay. That's crazy. Damn. That is a wake-up call, huh? Prune 17. What a wild profile picture you have. That's pretty crazy. What if Hollywood took a channel that strictly focuses on LGBT plus ABC 123 community and changed agendas and put 70s, 80s, and sitcoms on? They would be pissed. Well, that's hashtag how Star Wars fans feel. Right. Yeah, man, it's like... This is one of those things. This is another reason why, like, I don't want to talk about Acolyte anymore, is because it puts us in these really weird situations where I have to sort of make a nuanced point. Like, you could, like, for instance, I'll say it like this, and I'm just going to drop it because, again, it only causes me grief, right? But for those of you that, like, have an IQ higher than the room temperature, like, you'll be able to follow along. There's a difference between something being racial and racist. Okay? So, like, I'm Polish. If somebody were to say to me, like, oh, let's not let the Polak decide, you know, this thing or whatever, and it's like, that's racial. I don't consider it to be racist. Now, if somebody came up to me and said, like, you're not welcome here, you dirty Polak, then I'd be like, okay, that's a little racist. Right? But I feel like what happens in a lot of these conversations, what happens in a lot of these fandoms, and because what works on the internet is, like, at a 5th grade reading level, like, that's factual. Like, that's what it is. People don't want to engage in any intellectual exercise. They just want to feel good. So it's easier to say a person making a racial joke is racist and reject them than it is to think or parse out the difference between the two. Right? So, like, because that is like an impossible conversation to have, and because it's the conversation that Acolyte continues to force us to have, I'm just very uninterested in continuing to kind of talk about it, because, you know, fans, and maybe fans of all types and all kinds of people, are just not there to even have that conversation. Whether it's me or somebody else saying it, it doesn't matter. They're not there to have that conversation. Do you know what I mean? So that, I don't know if that made any fucking sense, but that's how I feel. Goat Lord says, in the original prequel script, Palpatine would have conceived Anakin through the Force. We know it's possible the witches likely did the same thing. Yeah. I think it's possible. I would need to know more of how they actually did it before I'd be like, ooh, that's like, you know, that shit's on Anakin or whatever, right? For now, I'm like, the jury's still out. You know what I mean? That's what I think. Leon says, you need to go tell Theory this because he wasn't believing that the Jedi could have been responsible for the fire. Go watch his immediate reaction. I saw some of the clips and stuff with Theory and everything, and I think, I mean, dude, it's been enjoyable for me to just watch that whole situation. Yeah. But look, I think it's pretty obvious that there's something else going on. I also think the show is going to spend time letting us know. But maybe not. You know what I mean? Like, maybe not. Maybe it's just going to be left at, it was the fire, and then we're like, wait, what? Okay. Jay Robbins says, funny fact, the Jedi Master who was meditating for 10 years was a Padawan for 6 years before that. You're what we need right now, Josh. A true peacemaker. Oh, damn. I gotta tell you, that's a new one. I don't think I've ever been called the true peacemaker before. I might get a shirt. I'm willing to embrace it. But I don't know. I don't know if that's accurate. I don't know if everybody else would agree. Cash Lareos says, late to the stream, TLDR. Okay. TLDR, rest in peace, Benny. I wish I was more like him. He was awesome, had an incredible legacy. When I first watched Acolyte, I thought it was trash, but wasn't really offended. Didn't think it broke the lore. Then I thought about it more, and I said, nah, it probably does. Fuck that. I'm done with Star Wars after this. For one last time, I will use my limited brain energy, my limited hours in the day, my limited time on this plane of existence, and I will once more into the fray talk about Star Wars as it has been set up by Kathleen Kennedy and Leslie Headland. But today will be the last day. That's the TLDR. Lou says, what other characters can create life through the Force? It's canon breaking and destroys the unique origin of Anakin and Chosen One. You're okay with this? I don't think, it's not that I'm okay with it. It's that I just don't know that that's actually what's happened, right? So what if there was a father? What if she's lying? What if she cloned a Sith from back in the day and used his, juices to artificially inseminate the other person? All I'm saying is I'm not ready to say that's exactly what it was and that it exactly breaks canon. That's all I'm saying. Philip Hatch says, I don't think the show is this smart, LOL. I bet the next episode will just continue as if episode 3 didn't happen. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Say juices again? Juices. And what if it's Palpatine? Which doesn't make sense within the time. What if it's Plagueis? What if they do a Reylo-esque thing where Plagueis and his big old wrinkly mun head banged that lady's girlfriend? Just let that image just kind of float around in your head for a little bit here. Hell yeah. Highwayman, thanks, man. Matic, appreciate you, brother. Tylan says, this show fails spectacularly in basic cinematography, color use, framing, and music. Direction is non-existent. Shots are just merged without any sense of form, aside from its awful plot. I agree. I thought episode 2 was strong, though. I thought episode 2 actually showed me something. But there's a lot of it's, like, pretty unremarkable. And episode 3 was such a step down. It felt so weird. JJ Lamont says, I was depressed after seeing how bad that was, but I'm wearing a Star Wars sweater at Disneyland right now. So it's not dead to me, but done watching. Right. Yeah, I guess, like, I wasn't trying to put everybody on the spot and make you feel weird, but, when you say Star Wars is dead, I guess what I want to know is, how is it more dead this time? What makes this time different? You know what I mean? What makes this one different than the last time it was dead? And then the time before that when it was dead? Yeah, I don't know. I mean, could you say it's a completely diminished brand? Absolutely. Yeah, I don't know. Cell says, it's clear that Leslie/KK/Disney has a warped view of Star Wars. And for what? Money and a culture war. That is sad. Yeah. It's also probably, it's possible they're just out of touch, right? Like, I don't like to prejudge people or generalize, but I've got certain feelings about people that live in Hollywood, kind of generally. And one of my big things about people in Hollywood is that they're out of touch. They don't know what it's like to like live in the real world. You know what I mean? So Nick Debo, what's up, brother? Says, long time, Josh. Hate to reconnect on a somber note, but this is a bit just at high budgeted fan fiction. I'm numb. That's why it looks like I can't get excited for shit. I ain't leaving, but I don't know why. Yeah. You know what would be great? And by the way, I hope you're doing well, man. I remember you. I remember on Nerd Theory when you were going through your treatment. I remember, I think you were cancer-free and you got on the other end of it. So I remember you, appreciate you, I send a lot of love your way. You know what I would want to know? Like, genuinely, and not for content, not for a gotcha, but just for like my own edification. I would love to take this comment and literally just ask Leslie, like, Leslie, what do you say to somebody like this? Like, genuinely. Do you care at all that you're taking some people's favorite, most sacred thing and you are shitting on it? I would love to know what her actual answer would be to somebody like you, Nick, you know? Mike S. Hangout says, watch more anime. I mean, that's good advice. Anime's pretty lit. Lonzo says, do exactly what you're doing, my man. Not watch. Really sad what they were doing to Star Wars. Yes, I agree. Highwayman says, I am solely consuming Legends content from now on. Disney making the EU non-canon was their best decision because they left it untouched. Based EU. Ooh, I kind of like that. A little bit of a silver lining there. That's cool. Crazy Eights says, I've been done is that I have no more feelings towards Star Wars anymore. Just empty. The music doesn't even bring nostalgia. I haven't shown up for shit. Well, I'm sorry to hear that, but I mean, I'm glad you're at least taking a stand, you know? Hope you got some stuff you enjoy in life, bro, you know? Nick says, follows up, says, autocorrect on the fritz. It's all watered down. It's obviously social ploys with no regard for the plot. Include, but don't dilute. John and Dave only. Ooh, I like that. Include, but don't dilute. Ooh, I like that. Vinny says, what if it's so bad you have to talk about it? All right, you kind of got me in a corner with this one. I don't know. Matt Cave Gaming says, I remember when the biggest argument about Star Wars amongst fans was, why is there a hole in the Death Star? LOL. I miss those days. Yeah? Simpler times. Before the dark times. Before Disney. Cavs says, Star Wars is dead. Star Wars remains dead, and we have killed it. Nietzsche. Oh my God, nice. Seriously though, just wanted to check in and say we will always have the movies 1 to 6, and for that, Star Wars will never die in my heart. Damn! That's crazy. That's a good super chat, man. Started with a flip on a Nietzsche quote. Ended with some positivity. I like it. Thank you. Rossi says, Most blood-curdling thing to me was after the witches do their chant, there are two witches that cackle laugh in the background and sound like they came from Hocus Pocus soundboard. $180 million budget? Question mark? Yeah. Yeah. I mean, yeah. I mean, that is what happened. Yes. Yes. Jonathan says, May starts a little fire to murk her sister. 2 minutes later, all the witches are dead and Soul is somehow there to save Osha. Just lazy writing. Yeah, or there's more to it that will be revealed later. And then instead of lazy writing, I would just call it bad writing, because you're burying the lead. You're trying to be too cute. You've already pissed people off. You know, it's just not an effective way to tell 4-quadrant mass appeal IP story. Chris P says Star Wars takes place in a galaxy far, far away. True. It doesn't take place in today's era with people's current agenda. I watch Star Wars to escape reality. I think that's fair. I think that is truly fair, bro. Gregor says Kyle Katarn's comments were disgraceful, yet this is who Lucasfilm invites to speak with Dave Filoni directly, along with 2 follower TikTokers. Yeah, I mean, that's just the reality. Like, that is reality. That's reality. And you know what? Also, you know what's like sad is like, okay, look. I don't like talking about people. I'd rather talk about ideas. Okay? So I don't know Kyle. I've talked to him a little bit. We actually agreed that we don't understand each other at all, but we don't really wish any ill will towards each other. And that remains to be true. But I will talk about the idea that he proposed. And that idea is, I mean, it's racist. You know what I mean? Like, it is the thing that they say all the fans are. It is actually that. You know what I'm saying? So that idea is ignorant. And yeah, sure, maybe it's just a joke, right? Maybe he's just being cheeky. But that's my take. Lady Boner says, I've never seen this many super chats all lined up. Yeah, it's a fair bit of them, for sure. Kawi says, after watching the latest episode, I can assume the Zabrak woman who gave birth to the twins would most likely be the Sith training May. She showed so much resentment of the Jedi, and it just makes sense. I don't think so, bro. I don't think so. And I would not like it if that's the way they went with it. But, I mean, let's be real. I'm probably not going to like whatever they do at this point. But I want the actual Sith. Like, I want actual Sith. Like, I hope that some big, bad Sith user comes in and is like, yo, May, you know what your problem was? You were hanging out with those whack-ass witches that don't know shit. Come to the dark side and let me train you in the ways of the Sith. And I'd be like, hell yeah. Vagabond of Light says, Episode 3 to me is evidence that they will go into how the Sith learned how to create life. We will get more info. I thought it was an intriguing idea. Yeah, it's intriguing as an idea. I don't think it's executed well. That's just me, though. Soren Sound says, why does Lucasfilm want to make... Wait, what? Why doesn't Lucasfilm want to make money? PG-13 Vader show with Hayden shortly after Revenge of the Sith. There, easy as fick. They are so bad at making money and hype, it almost seems intentional. Yeah, it does kind of seem intentional at this point. Yeah, it's hard to say. It's hard to say. There's something really weird going on with Acolyte. I'm really interested to see where it goes from here. HT Verlog says, an absolute plus in my book. No shaky cam. 6 out of 10. That's, that's true. That's true. That's fair. Yao, or I believe is it Yo? Says the Acolyte does not even do woke well. It's not fun, entertaining, mysterious, or well made. I'm watching Doctor Who, and it's super woke, but well made. Yeah, Jessica Jones season 1, super woke, super awesome. Barbie, super woke, incredibly well crafted. The Boys, incredibly woke. And now they're finally like confirming it and telling you it's always been about Trumpism, right? But it's also just fucking awesome. So if you're gonna do that stuff, you better make sure it's like legit. And Acolyte just isn't legit, dude. Shogun Orta, very generous $10 holla. Appreciate you. Says Star Wars is the heroine of IPs now. We know it's bad for us. So say so even, but we keep coming back no matter how bad it is for us. People afraid to go cold turkey. Interesting. Interesting. What do you think, guys? Is Star Wars the heroine that we all can't quit? Like, what the fuck? I mean, I get what you're saying, bro. But that's like a wild take. I'd probably say, like, it's sugar. You know, maybe we could relate to sugar a little bit more. You know? Okay, Lou says 16 more days till 1 year. Let's fucking go. Unite! Appreciate you, Lou. Thank you for the support, man. Joey Ebb says, Josh, with you being an anime fan, have you seen the new images for the upcoming Lord of the Rings War of the Rohirrim movie? It's coming out in December. Looks pretty good. Yeah. So I did see it, and I saw the images that came out yesterday. I guess I didn't realize how anime it actually is. Like, it's anime. And for some reason, I thought it was going to look more like Western animation. But, dude, it looks anime. And I think that's a fucking awesome idea, dude. So I can't wait. December, I'll be there. Dr. Bestman says, you think the show can be redeemed in the back half? Yeah. I just don't know that it will, but yeah, I think it could be. I think for a lot of people, this is just too far. But if they go hard on the Sith and it actually like makes sense, like I could see myself even liking that aspect of it. There's no way I'm going to like episode 3. Episode 3 is trash. But could the last 4 episodes, I mean, they better hope, dude. Like, they better hope the back half of this shit is really good. Meister420 says, Josh, why is your contrast so high today? You're looking vibrant, my guy. And Han Solo looking awfully blue today. Maybe that's accurate for today. Yeah. So, out of curiosity, what do you guys think? The lighting, does it look okay? Do you like the lighting? What do you guys think? Does it look okay? Do we look okay? Does it? Do we look okay here? Den of spray tans? What the fuck? Yeah, so I was like baiting for compliments and shit. Thanks a lot for not doing shit for me there, guys. But the reality is, for maybe the first time in my entire YouTube career, I have the lighting super dialed in this room. So the exposure is perfect. The lighting is exactly the way I want it. For the first time, maybe ever. I've been doing YouTube for a long time, and I've never, like, really cared that much about how I look. But I was, like, editing some shit and doing some research over the weekend, and I was just like, damn, dude, like, my lighting is super unflattering all the fucking time. And I was like, what if we changed that? What if I tried to light myself and the room in the in like a good way. So we're dialed in, baby. Hell yeah. You always talk about your hair. That's true. But that's more of like an ADD thing. Like if I see my hair and it's like fucked up, it's like a loop. I get stuck on a loop about it. I don't even really care what it looks like. It's like I just want it to be different. Does that make sense? All right. Matic, appreciate you, brother. Much love. Maxwell says, didn't mind the first 2 episodes, but last night's was just kind of corny and hard to watch. When the witches started singing, they lost me. 4 out of 10. Hey, that's what I gave it. I gave it a 4 out of 10. Wait, so this is you caring? I mean, let's not get crazy. Okay? I don't know if I would say this is me caring, but I just decided to try to dial in the lighting, and then here we are. Matt Sanders says, how about Apple, who are actually making good sci-fi shows by Star Wars? Yeah, I'm open to it. See, here's the thing, though. I almost feel like you need a complete overhaul, like fire everybody and bring in completely new ideas, create a completely different culture at Lucasfilm. I don't think Disney is willing to go that far. So I'm kind of like, I don't know, man. I don't know how to answer that, but I'm open to any ideas as far as how to make it better and change it and shit. But, man, I just don't know. Brother. JJ Lamont says, wild, they name her... I don't even... What? And then had so many building violations, flammable bricks, screws, baby. Yeah, that's true. True. Locationary says, follow up from my super chat from before, as I'm 20 minutes behind the stream. I'm saying Jedi probably didn't have age rules yet because they said Anakin was too old. Yeah, no, I get you, bro. It's possible. I don't know about the High Republic, but Saul does tell her he was recruited when he was 4 years old, right? So they were recruiting younger people. Maybe they had a cutoff. Maybe they did not. I don't really know. And I don't know enough about the High Republic to know, like, oh, yeah, they definitely say, you know, you got to be this old or whatever, right? Yeah. You know, I'm going to say something wild. It just popped into my head. Sometimes when stuff pops into my head, it's not, I shouldn't say it. But this time, I'm going to say it. I just had the thought that if the team that made Always Sunny in Philadelphia were to remake this show, I think it would be better written, more entertaining, and here's the really ironic part, more supportive to the actual gay experience and to what that's really like. Yeah. Because if you've watched Always Sunny, you know what I'm talking about, right? Because, like, they've done things like that with Mac that even though it's through the lensing of comedy and it's a sitcom and all these crazy stuff, I think it actually does something and that Acolyte does not do. Meaning, I think Always Sunny actually brings people in and has them feel empathy for Mac and being gay and all that sort of stuff. Like, it somehow does a better job and is more real, even though it is irreverent. And that's sad. Because it means, like, this show is so hollow. It is so much of a shell of what it could actually be. Anyway. Chillin' says the Acolyte isn't really good. It also hasn't broken canon. The biggest problem is that there's nothing new, or rather, there's nothing awesome happening at all. It just plods. They need to get it together quickly. Nerd vengeance for life. Take my money. Unity! Brother, I appreciate you, and I tend to agree. I think its biggest problem is that it's not awesome, and so it's a lot easier to feel or perceive that the messaging and the agenda is more important than the quality because the quality is so low. If the quality was higher, maybe it would feel in better balance, right? But that's not currently what's happening. It feels like the agenda and the messaging was top priority, and they somehow spent $200 million on a show that doesn't even look good. Like, it's crazy. It's crazy. Rossi says, Torben killed the witches. The Barash vow is for Jedi who the vow is taken by Jedi that feel they have done something deeply wrong. Usually violence. Yeah, no, I mean, that's pretty apparent. That's what I'm saying. It's like, there's got to be more to it, right? Cash Lareros says, hey, Josh, my question is, if you were to reboot Star Wars, how would you reboot it? What time period, main antagonist, and who would run it? Okay, here's what I would do. 1,000 years into the future, and the entire galaxy is a utopia. Okay? As the audience is watching a young boy or girl, it honestly doesn't matter who the main character is, but let's just say young male because we want to do something different. We would start the movie by watching this dude on Coruscant, and everything on Coruscant would be Imperial. Like Imperial flags, Imperial design, all this stuff. And yet, all the people within the world would think that they're in a utopian republic. And outside of the bubble of like Coruscant and the core worlds, you would understand that the rest of the galaxy is like in horrible shape. It's lawless. It's bloody. People are taken advantage of. And you have like this core group that's okay. And then I would have the story focus on the disillusionment of that, realizing that this is a facade and that there's actually like a darkness that's controlling that. And then I'd have that character meet some freedom fighters from the Outer Rim and go on to train as a Jedi, which is like this lost thing that the Republic destroyed from all the records and shit like that, right? So that's what I would do. Yeah, man. Yeah. Tyler says, big reason I've stuck around is your realness. Not a lot of that out there amongst creators nowadays. Nothing but respect for you, Papa Josh. Take my motherfucking money. Hey, appreciate you, brother. You know, it's funny because, like, I want to take credit for that, and I want to be like, oh, hell yeah. But honestly, it's just the way I am, bro. It's just the way I've always been. Like, I gotta tell you what I feel. I gotta keep it a buck. It's benefited me sometimes. It's gotten me in a lot of trouble over the years. So, I appreciate it, though. Thank you. Elliot H. says, just finished Unity Chapter 2. Really enjoyed it. You are a very talented writer. If you go write for Marvel, what character would you want to write? I got a really cool story with Doctor Doom and Black Panther. I've been building up a Spider-Man story. I've got a really cool Tony Stark / Avengers story that I would do. So some of the stuff I'm actually writing. At least making like a pitch Bible or making a pitch, and we'll see. I mean, every time I come out and talk about Lucasfilm, it probably hurts my chances of being hired at Disney or whatever. But again, I can't not do it. So, yeah, maybe we'll get that job. Maybe we'll do some writing at Marvel. Maybe not. Maybe it's just independent books for me. So we'll see. I'm glad you liked Unity. It's definitely a labor of love. And I think it's something special, for sure. Justin Manning says, bro, hometown online auction site has old school Warhammer stuff up for auction. What? Send me a DM. Let's talk about it. Meister says, messaging shows me lesbians are lame and manipulative. Oh, boy. Locationary says, just a $5 to say thank you for always being the voice of reason in the YouTube nerdy community. Appreciate you, brother. Thank you. Tim O'Brien says, I just want to add, I literally watched The Empire Strikes Back after the 3rd episode of Acolyte to get the bad taste out of my mouth. Take my money. Appreciate you. Yeah. I saw Star Wars Meg, really didn't like it. Guys, who does like this episode? Is there anybody? Like, is there a video or some reviews out there of people that actually like it? Because I'd love to watch one of those. Because, like, I enjoyed the first 2 episodes. Like, who likes this show? Oh, Star Wars Explained? Alex really likes it? Bro, there ain't no way. Bro, there ain't no way. Grace loved the episode. Yeah, but that's like par for the course. Like, look, I like Grace. I don't have anything against Grace. But I've never watched Grace's content because our views or our reviews line up. In fact, it's usually the opposite. So, I mean, that doesn't do anything for me. Like, Grace has good sources. I think she's got a great mind for business insight, and I like the way she breaks stuff down. But, like, dude, she starts talking about something she likes or doesn't like, and I'm just like... like, no. Like, no. No. It can't be. Real rejects like it. Oh, that's interesting. Okay, I think those guys are good guys, so I'd have to see what they said. Ryan Airy likes it. Yeah, but literally Ryan Airy likes everything. You know, no offense, Ryan, but you do. I've literally had conversation with Paul where we just talk shit about how you like everything for like hours. It's very cathartic for both of us. I mean, he makes great content, but he literally likes everything. God bless him. Ross says, I think it's okay. We got to let it keep going before we send it to hell. Damn. Okay. Yeah, I mean, you can keep going. I'm done. This is like part of Elden Ring where you find a campfire. I'm going to rest for a while, and then I'm going in the opposite direction. I am not continuing forward, but, you know, right on. Rayumbo says, been dead since they made Star Wars a Disney Plus mainstay. Had one of the biggest movie IPs in the world, and it's only a streaming brand with shite shows now. Take my money, Nerd Avengers for life. Hey, I appreciate it, dude. That felt like slam poetry. I'm going to read this like I'm doing slam poetry. Hang on now. Been dead since they made Star Wars a Disney Plus mainstay. Had one of the biggest movie IPs in the world. Now it's only a streaming brand with shite shows. Pretty good. Not bad. Not bad. Dar Boyd with a 10 spot. Appreciate you, brother. Says, the EU was never canon. Nerd Avengers for life. Ooh, a little stirring of the pot. Ooh, a little stirring of the pot. Don't pull your shoulder out, Dar Boyd. Bulldog Balo says, Mace Windu is the secret father. That's lit. Cash says, La Rios. It's Spanish. Basque makes an... Wait, what? Basque A makes an I sound. And I always see you struggling to pronounce my LM. You're good, though. Just wanted to say Unity Chapter 2 was fire. Oh, I'm glad you liked it. La Rios. La Rios. Okay, yeah, no, I'm still that guy, man. Sorry, I cannot pronunciate anything. I'm sorry. Tony says, nothing like stroking my saber in the shower while Josh edges me about Star Wars depression. May the schlong be with you. Nerd Vengeance for life. Take my money. Quote of the day. Nick says, all is well, Josh. Thank you for the kindness. Appreciate you, brother. Ross says, Josh, will there ever be another Nerd Theory? Miss y'all together. Congrats on the new baby incoming. Maybe someday. Maybe someday. I still got a lot of love for my man over there. You know what I mean? I hope he's doing well. Cloned Avenger says, yo, Josh, I think you took my super chat about DC wrong. I just meant as in, oh, just curious, not Jesus Christ. Okay. I'm excited for the DC stuff, but I get why you're waiting with how DC cancels stuff. Well, I appreciate the clarification, man. You didn't have to send another 10. You could have just thrown a 2 or something in there, you know? I want Gunn to succeed. I'm just literally not sure that he will. I mean, dude, he's good at making movies, but he is not good at running a cinematic universe thus far. And I know not everybody wants to hear this, but like, bro, he is at least partially responsible for the hundreds of millions of dollars that Warner Brothers lost last year. Because he announced a fucking reboot and 10-year plan before Shazam and Aquaman 2 and all that shit comes out. So I continue to say, the homie makes good movies. He is doing a shit job of running the studio. I mean, look at that Superman reveal. He's got the homie on the couch, shit behind him that looks ass, blowing up, and the dude's like, I guess I'll go. Like, where's the fucking heroic Superman post? Don't get me started. The best I can do is just accept and understand, yeah, this dude sucks at everything other than making movies. So I'm going to try to ignore all that, and I'm going to try to focus on maybe the movie will be good. Okay? Damn, Jareth, what the hell? Joe says, take a drink and get your throat and voice ready for the nighting. Nerd Avengers for Life, Unity. Appreciate you, bro. Donnie says, personally, I feel like the episode was fine. I don't see how it's divisive. Les' scene was meh, but I don't know. I thought it was good. Star Wars Explained is a Disney show. Okay, right on. 50 memberships? Jareth. Holy shit, bro. Thank you so much, dude. And shout out to all the new Nerd Vengers. Here, I'm going to cheat. I'm going to cheat. Shout out to all the new Nerd Vengers. You are a Nerd Venture now. Oh, hell yeah. Jareth, did you win a race or something, bro? Did you win a big race or something? Shots on Jareth. Let's go. Thanks, brother. Appreciate you, man. Omni Juan the homie, a.k.a. Beskar Batman, Says, I'm usually pretty forgiving of Star Wars in general, but even this episode didn't sit well when I found it was Agatha all along, and they gave me an anti-boner. Damn. Yeah, I think that's probably true, bro. I think that's probably true. I think that's probably real. Holy shit, Jareth. My man. Appreciate you, bro. And also, doesn't that prove that the thing is not working, right? Because, like, shouldn't it be over 12, 18? Right? Mr. J. Westman says, when your wife wants another baby and you don't, tell her to go pull a thread by herself. Oh, jeez. Oh, boy. You know what's funny? So I was, you know, I've said this before, but like Elisa and I want to have like 5 kids, right? And I know that's crazy, but the reality is there's a lot of like really shitty people in the world. So like we got to try to put as many good people that are raised wholesome into the world as possible, right? So we want to go for 5. But she told me the other day that if we have 5 and they're all boys, we got to go for 6 because we really want a girl. So, let's hope we get a girl before 5 because, damn, 6 is crazy. That's a lot. That's a lot. Indiana Jones says, bro, so you don't think the trades would have scooped the DC reboot if Gunn never announced it? I think there is a big difference between the reports and rumors of a reboot and the new president doing some weird-ass video in January of a year when you have 3 big movie releases and saying whatever goobly glob bullshit he said and reboot. So yeah, no, I definitely think those things are weighed differently. Now, it's possible. Like, look, let's just be fair. It's possible those movies would have bombed either way. But I'll tell you the truth. When I knew that they weren't a part of the reboot, my desire to see them went lower. So maybe it's not all him, but he did nothing to help that time period. And also, you're talking about a guy, like, do you remember that run? Because I happen to remember it because Gunn and I were like publicly fighting, right? But this dude literally did 3 weeks of bringing in the people, firing them, and then they would like blurt out on social media. Do you remember? It was like Gal Gadot blabbing about. It was The Rock coming out blabbing about. Henry Cavill coming out blabbing. This dude literally fired everybody in sequence, said that he didn't fire them, and then they all came out on social media and were airing it out. Bro, that is not the way you do that. Like, what kind of a culture? Like, what are you do? Like, that is so stupid. And that's what I mean. Is like, this is the guy. And I think Gunn is a very talented dude. But this is the guy that went to actual court to try to remove his co-writer's name from the first Guardians movie. Like, he's not the guy to, like, support the whole team and, like, help the whole thing. Like, no, he's a selfish, Hollywood-created... That's who he is. So, it's like, I can say, yeah, I think he's a good filmmaker. I think he's actually a pretty good writer. I think he could do some good stuff. He's not the guy to run the studio. Oh, and one other thing. You realize he was the last ask? They asked the whole fucking town before they asked James Gunn. And in fact, they didn't ask James Gunn. It was, what's the guy's name? Peter, what's his face? The guy that was actually approached approached by Zaslav, and then that guy, what was the guy's name? Safran. Peter Safran. Peter Safran was the guy that had the idea to bring Gunn on. Zaslav didn't even ask him. So, I mean, look, spoiler alert, I don't like James Gunn. But he's a good filmmaker, and I hope Superman is a good movie. Is that fair? Is that okay? Can I say that? Yeah. all the James Gunn emojis. Yeah. Yeah, so we'll see. I mean, look, I honestly think James Gunn's DCU could be epic, could do something for DC I've wanted for a long time. It could be great. It could also be a fart in the wind. And I think both are possible. Yeah. Richie Brash says, I like it, but I'm scared to talk about it. Oh, that's okay. Don't be scared. Don't be scared. Vandolph the Black says, your reboot idea is Andor with Jedi in it. Nerd Vengers for life. Don't say that. You don't say that to me. You don't say that to me. Locationary, thanks for gifting 5, man. You guys have been super generous this stream. I appreciate the super chats, the member chats. I appreciate the gifted memberships. I appreciate your time. I appreciate your attention. Thank you. John Cross says with a $10 holla, says at work, but had to jump in and ask how those Disney checks are. Just kidding. Can't wait for Wolverine Part 2 tonight. Nerd Vengers for life. Oh, hell yeah. And I will no longer be getting the shill checks. They were pretty good too. So yeah, they canceled them. They canceled the shill checks. Me and my big mouth. All right, guys. I'm probably going to get out of here. We've done 2.5 hours on the Acolyte, you know. Oh, I missed your chat, bro. Let me see. Let me try to find it, Griff. I don't see it, brother. I'm looking. You know, I've seen a thing in chats before where if you send a super chat, there's like a thing by your name. So if you were to say that, I could like click on it and then find the chat again. But that hasn't rolled out for me. I've seen it for other streamers and it seems really cool. Griff, I'm looking, bro. I'm trying. Oh, here we go. With the way the mother was talking, I think they may be connected to the path of the open hand from the High Republic, who later evolved into the Nile. Interesting. Okay. Yeah, I'm super unfamiliar with the High Republic. But yes, that could be the case. Path of the open hand. Okay, I'll write that down. Cool, man. RIP my super chat. What are you talking about, Leon? I read yours for sure. I need you to go tell Theory. Yeah, I read that one, bro. You don't remember? You don't remember? Rossi says, people are just saying you missed Griff's member chat. Oh, okay, yeah. JB says, 39 motherfucking months. I'm excited to see Acolyte, good or bad. I want to see what they do, but I get your feels, and I appreciate your nuance. Thanks, man. Yeah, thanks. I try to acknowledge all the people, all the voices that are in the room, but I also have to like be authentic to how I see it and how I feel about it. I don't think you're a good commentator if you don't have like an honest, strong opinion about things. You know what I mean? So. Wait, did you really? Yeah, bro. I remember going over it because I was like, yeah, that's funny. Theory. Ha ha ha. You know? Josh, you need to go back to a video from a year ago when you missed my super. Okay, let's go. You missed mine too. It was $100. You can just pay me back though instead. Okay, right on. But you got to pay me for the transfer fee. So you send me 200 and then I'll send you 300. Okay. All right, everybody. I'm going to get on out of here. I appreciate you guys. Got some videos coming out. Should have a really cool Marvel video about Blade and Midnight Suns coming out later today. I have a huge Avengers video that's like taking me forever to edit. So that should be probably out tomorrow at this point, but we'll see. So yeah, I appreciate you guys. Thank you for being here. Also, Twitter and Twitch, I apologize because I can see a bunch of your chats now, but I couldn't see them during the stream. I'm still trying to figure out, like, how do I get better at watching the chats from everywhere? So, sorry. I'm going to try to figure that out, but I appreciate you either way. Rossi says, go as Gunn for Halloween and dye your hair and beard. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Rossi, thanks for gifted. Avengers 5 is coming out before Josh's Avengers video. Yeah, maybe. Okay. Thank you. Friday, big old stream. We're going to be breaking down The Boys, and we're going to be deep diving into House of the Dragons. Team Green, Team Black. What the hell? Who's the thing? What's the dragons? Oh, hell yeah. Obi says smash the like button. Appreciate you guys. Thank you for being here. As I always say, I hope you are having an awesome and a nerdy day. And I'll see you in the next video.
Leader, yes. Yes.
Is everybody gone? Did everybody leave? Oh, man. Another happy landing. And by the way, I hope you guys understand, man. It's just not the vibe. I appreciate you guys. I like talking through things. But Lucasfilm, especially with this show, has created it in such a way that I don't want to keep talking about it. So I hope you understand it. And I feel like this is kind of a good closing of the coverage. And, you know, we could just move on to other things. Get excited about other things. There's a lot more that I want to do with the streams. So appreciate you. Much love. And remember, open up your third eye and wash out your stinky butt.